Alright, so this is going to be a tutorial for the consistent first floor skip. So for starters, obviously you need 6.8 cents. This is the zoom sense you need to be using. It's really nice because it's really close to 1, so combat and other in-game stuff like that won't really be affected. With that zoom sense, you need to do 1 dot to the right, and you need to do no clockwise turns throughout the entirety of this trick. I will leave this zoom sense in the description so you guys can just copy and paste it. I would also recommend that you use the most up-to-date version of HCM to see the look angle and subpixel drift overlay, because otherwise you won't really be able to see what goes wrong when you're doing the trick. I will leave a link to that in the description as well. So for starters, you need to turn left here because going right would hit the zero boundary. So, and when you do this carrier jump, I meant to set checkpoint there. When you do the carrier jump, you need to make sure you're turning left, which is really awkward because obviously the natural thing to do here is to turn right. This just kind of takes practice to do. It's the exact same thing at the end of the day, so it really doesn't change much. What I like to do also when I do this though is I like to throw a nade over the wall and then like start tap shooting the AR to draw the flood out. You don't have to do this. This is like kind of optional. I just like to do it to get the flood out faster. And then when you get here, you obviously can't cross the zero boundary, so you need to turn right instead of left. And then after you get this guy, you need to turn left instead of right to get back. And that's pretty much it. I mean, if you can get past that part, that's like the hardest part of the trick, is doing all that combat and movement without crossing the zero boundary. The rest of it is pretty much free from here. So the next thing you need to do is do your 1 dot to the right. I did 2 there, but you can go back 1. And that's why I like doing it on that wall, is it's really easy to see like how many dots you do if you overdo it or underdo it. So you can do it anywhere though, you don't have to do the dot right there. And the only thing you need to be careful about at the door up here is that the zero boundary is on the left, so you need to turn right once you get to the door, and then left to kill the flood. So go up to the door, turn right, and then shoot the flood, turn left. And it's weird for me because that's the exact opposite of how I normally do it. So if you also do it the exact opposite of that, you just need to practice doing it this way. And same thing for the up warp here, you need to turn right instead of left to avoid crossing the zero boundary. The up warp, the lineup for the up warp is really nice. It's just lining up right on the corner of this thing and holding D, and then tapping crouch and space, and that'll work every time. So it's a really nice lineup for that. For the platforming, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. You can kind of just YOLO it and jump to each spot and get to the light that way. If you don't want to learn to do it that way, I've made a couple different manips. I'm just going to show you the one I prefer the most. You kind of just jump into this bouncy thing and get into this little corner right here where I'm at. And then you line up with this thing right here. And then it's like kind of similar to Maw Teleport, where you jump and hold forward and then do another jump and then just land. And this should work basically every time, as long as you kind of get a feel for like when you need to let go of W and like when you need to jump. This just helps like make it more consistent if you're struggling with the platforming. And when you land in the light, you need to turn right instead of left, obviously, to avoid the zero boundary. So now for lining up the teleport, what I'm lining up with is these 2 black bars. Here, I'll actually get into the lineup first and then show you guys what the lineup is. So I'm lining up with these 2 black bars right here with my pistol right below it. Like this is the exact lineup you need, by the way, because the Y position on your reticle also does matter. I'm not sure why Y position affects it, but it does. So you need to be exactly where I'm looking, X and Y position. And the look angle you need, obviously, is 0.6285567. If you have any other number here, this teleport will not work at least 100% of the time anyways. And to make the teleport happen, all you have to do is, I mean, when you're in this spot, you're holding right and forward. All you do to teleport is let go of right, and it'll teleport you every single time. There is 2 different teleports you get though. Yeah, sometimes you get this out of bounds teleport. So there's 2 different things you can do to make sure you don't die on the out of bounds teleport. The way I'd recommend doing it is holding back and D, or back and left when you teleport. But the thing you need to be careful of is you're not doing it too early, because then you fuck with the teleport. So you need to like make sure you have teleported and then hold back and left immediately. And this will work every single time as long as you don't like jump the gun and do it too early. The other way you can do it, which I wouldn't recommend, is you can do a tick perfect jump and like kind of jump over the wall and land like over here. I wouldn't recommend this though, because obviously, I mean, you're doing a tick perfect jump and that makes the trick a lot harder. You can do that for IL because it saves like 6 or 7 seconds or so, but if you want something that's like truly consistent for full game, the best thing you can really get is this teleport and then hold backwards and left. You just need to make sure like you don't do what I did in that middle attempt there, is letting go of it like too early and like doing the backwards and left too early. You need to make sure you don't touch anything until you've already teleported. So like that's like the main thing to practice, is make sure you're not jumping the gun with the inputs. There is probably another way you could do it, where like you just hold straight forward on the teleport if you don't want to learn the left and back. It won't give me the out of bounds teleport, so I can't like show what I'm trying to talk about, but you could like maybe like do that instead. The problem is that's going to lose you a lot more time. But it's kind of up to you like what you want to do. Like after you get the teleport, there's a lot of different ways you could go about it, but the way I recommend is just holding backwards and left, and that, as long as you don't mess with the teleport, it'll work every single time. So yeah, that's pretty much it.